Hello, everyone. I am back with the big ideas portion of my teaching memo. I'll talk a little bit about what went on during the last session, some of the key points. This is the heart. I'm going to talk about the Heart is Dickens discussion board. This is one of my favorite discussion boards because most of my students come into this course with strong preconceived notions about the usefulness of large-scale standardized tests, mostly with a different opinion or different mindset after they see the time, the care, and the expense that goes into creating them. Many bash them without knowing about this time, care, and cost that go into creating them. Many of you have dived into the discussion on the test creation process. As you no doubt can tell, I have created this discussion for a reason. Educators are not shy about bashing these tests without any knowledge of reliability, validity, absence of bias, pilot testing, or the standardization process itself. It's okay to use your own testing experience as a start, but then you must go deeper and find out about how psychometricians account for test anxiety, poor testing conditions, and individual difference in the test takers themselves. My goal is not to change your perspective, but to give you a wider view so you can talk about them intelligently when you're in the teacher's room. Many of you have commented that you're unaware of the many intricacies of large-scale test creation process. Many reacted to the expense of testing, which is what I hoped you would do, which is why I directed many of you to an article, and there's a link to it in the text version of this teaching memo. On the overall cost to states and districts, what percentage it is. Diana mentioned the price of how she had a new opinion of the care and expense that went to the cost to states. Diana mentioned the price and how she had a new opinion about the care and expense that went to creating them. I'm repeating myself. For those who want to bash the cost of tests, just mention the $17 billion price tag, as many of you did. But you don't have to read very far into the article to see that the overall cost to a district, as Sonal correctly stated, it's less than 1/4% of their total budget. You can't buy many school supplies for that. The state assessments are criterion reference tests based on our standards. New York State Ed hopes to have tests based on the new Common Core state standards that they put into place now by 2019. Theoretically, everyone could get a 4. They are not normed on a standardization sample as our norm reference tests. Instead, they are pilot tested to see how the questions are working. And if it doesn't, and that brings up one of the issues with pilot testing. How are you going to get the kids to take them seriously if they know those tests don't really count for anything? The state has wrestled with embedding sample questions into the actual tests to kind of go around this problem of pilot testing. But it has gotten resistance from those who are angered by students spending time on questions that don't count. Quite the dilemma. What do you think? Maybe some of you will bring it up in this next session's discussion board. One of my goals is to get to look at your own test creation process and to use the large-scale test as a way to evaluate teacher-made tests. Several of you wrote about your own process of creating tests. In section 20, in section 640.21, Renee explained her strategies for her 6th grade honors class, revising poor questions and embedding them throughout the school year. While this is not your typical boring test prep, it prepares students much more gradually and stress-free. She also shared a great math resource, which I was unfamiliar with, illustrative math, and I have a link to that in the text version of the teaching memo. and it has many math ideas that are aligned with the Common Core state standards. Some of you mentioned the first article I had ever published back in 1999, How Standard is Standardized Testing. It resonated with Carrie, who wondered if project-based learning and exhibitions could be a better way to assess. If you are interested in experimenting on accommodating all of your students, give them a quiz, put it on a clipboard, and ask them to go wherever they want in the room, and then watch them, or even out in the corridor, if that's possible, and note where they go. This may give you a hint as to their learning style, environmental preferences. One of my teachers did this, and I think I mentioned it in the article. I'm not sure if I did or not. I am not closing the favorite interventions discussion board because many of you stated that you were going to try some of them and then report back. I hope you do that. I will not count any posts towards your grade after last Sunday at midnight, but this is how you will improve your teaching. So I will be back with my third video about the assignments, session 5 assignments. You will find that in the session 5 assignment folder.